Let's get loaded on Lansdowne. All
right, we're in.
Welcome.
Yeah, well, hey, what? Huh?
What are we up? Episode 80?
80.
80. All right. Welcome to episode
Not
80
bad.
of the Loaded on Lansdowne Red Sox Baseball Podcast. I'm your host, Mark Chikaris. Alongside me virtually, as always, is Andrew Andrews.
The sad thing is, there's a good chance our episode number now has eclipsed our listenership.
It's true. I don't know how many people are listening to baseball.
Oh, tons. I'm just kidding. It's back.
So super producer Andrew Andrews, as always, getting the show out, making it sound good, putting in the music, doing all the good stuff. And Andy, we actually have a lot to talk about this week.
Yeah, I mean, none of it actual baseball, but still, hey.
None of it actual baseball, but important things nonetheless. So I want to start out by, I don't know, like, here's the deal. And I want to preface this by saying I really and truly actually don't blame this particular player, right? Like, so I think he has the right to do what he did. However, I will say that after having a couple of years of this guy in the Red Sox organization, I think it's the least surprising news.
No. Him playing would have been the surprise.
Right. The least surprising news in the history of least surprising newses is that the first player to officially come out and say he will be foregoing the 2020 season, he is not going to play, he's opting out, is the one, the only David Price, who put out a statement on Twitter, who said I'm not going to, I have the tweet up. It's so boring.
It's not great, though. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the right kind of, it doesn't have that David Price douche that we've grown to know and love. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's just basically like, for the health of my family, I'm going to be opting out. The Dodgers, he had mentioned that the Dodgers do fully have his back. The Dodgers did mention that they do. He says he's going to miss being with his teammates, and he's like, go Dodgers! Can't wait to see you, win the World Series or something. Well, they're going to do it without you.
No, he's leaving $12 million. He's leaving $12 million on the table or something like that.
Yeah, and I mean, so that's to my point when we move on to kind of how we're going to talk about other players who are doing this. But I just think it's wicked funny that it's David Price. I mean, it just seems like with the carpal tunnel and the playing video game DL stints and just everything else, like, of course he's the one who's like, nah, not gonna do it. Look, I don't know if his kid or if his wife or if his parents have any underlying condition. I didn't get that far.
No, you know what? Listen, I don't know, but I'm almost positive they don't. You know why? Because if they did, he would have fucking told everybody who did.
Exactly.
Okay? We would have known years ago, regardless. All right? So, come on. I mean, maybe his allergies are his pre-existing condition.
Yes, that's right.
So,
his allergies to cut grass, right? The grass that's cut, he's allergic to, correct?
And laundry soap.
Right.
Certain laundry soap, the cheap stuff.
And what does he do for a living? He makes his living on where? What surface?
The only thing worse would be if he was the actual person who cut the grass.
Right.
Other than that, he's the closest person to it.
Exactly. So again, I mean, it's just too easy. Like, when I saw that, it was like the softball lobbed up, just like, of course it's David Price who opts out. But to your point, a couple other players have come out. Mike Trout has said he essentially doesn't feel safe. Buster Posey, catcher for the Giants, has come out and said, he's not 100% sure what he's going to do at this point. But what are all these? Felix Hernandez, who's trying to make a comeback with the Braves, also opted out. He was, I think, the second player for the season. But what do all these players have in common, Andy?
They're on teams that blow. No, I don't know.
They've made their money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They've made their money, so they they can opt out. But this is again where baseball is a whole nother world and sports is a whole nother world. Is that there's somebody who works for a supermarket right now who can't opt out of their job.
Am I an asshole? I mean,
Yes.
the easy answer is obviously yes. But like, unless you have a kid who is someone in your family, and no, you know what? Even then, dude, the whole for the health of my family, like, get a fucking hotel room across from the stadium and just live there for the next 3 months. Is it that big of a deal? I don't all of a sudden all of these dudes who, and listen, I'm being very generalized here, okay? The Phillies are having trouble because they can't stay out of the bars apparently. Okay, which is that's another thing too. It's like and all these rules like for contact when I don't understand how it's that hard just to create a situation where once everybody is tested, you just play fucking baseball for the next 3 months. That's all you do.
Right.
Okay?
In a team-controlled hotel facility or whatever.
I think it's crazy that they couldn't figure out the whole bubble thing and just do it that way.
Right. I mean,
especially with baseball fields, it's not like there's tons of facilities where you could have games go. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, again, it's one of those situations where you might have to be like, hey, look, hon, I might only get to see you and the kids once every 2 weeks after I get tested and it comes back negative. I could see you. And then when I get back to people, I'm not going to be able to see you for 2 weeks.
I know. And I know all the teammates are saying the right things. I get it. But, and listen, if maybe you're in a situation where, John Lester, I could understand. The guy had leukemia. Maybe that's a thing that I could get.
Right.
But like, if you're the teammates, and I know they're saying all the right things, like, oh, I understand, family, blah, 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 blah. But they're really pissed secretly, right?
Well, I mean, look at Mookie Betts. I mean, Mookie Betts isn't going to opt out because he's going to try to put together something amazing in 60 games. There is no one, and people have written about this. Bo Sox Injection wrote about it a million times. The articles have been all over the place. I mean, the big loser in this whole COVID thing is Mookie Betts because he was going to be the next Mike Trout type money guy. Bryce Harper, Mike Trout money, and he's just not going to get it because it's just not going to be there.
Karavis is saying that he thinks Mookie's best deal is just to do a 1-year deal next year.
Right. Yeah, and I would agree.
Take a 1-year deal somewhere, and which I don't know. I mean, that's still you're 1 year older after. You're never going to make. Unfortunately, you're never going to make as much as he was going to make.
Yeah. What did the Red Sox? Red Sox offered him $300 million, right?
Yeah. Now, here's the thing: is that offer still on the table? You think when the season ends, or are the Red Sox pulling back?
No, I don't think it's on the table because baseball in general is going to take a $4 billion hit from this.
Yeah,
that's what they're saying. So I mean,
if they had
unless it's some weirdly structured, how usually they do. Well, it's not usually. They get creative with these contracts all the time. So sometimes they're front loaded, sometimes sometimes they're back loaded.
The player buyout is a big one lately now.
Right. So you may have to say to Mookie, hey, look, we'll give you $20 million a year until things go back to normal. Then we'll bump you up to $35 million a year. You know what I mean?
Yes, but unfortunately, if I'm the owner, I'm going, well, maybe you're not 35 million. You know what I mean? That's weird.
Yeah, I mean, unless he lights it up, you never know.
I think he will do very well against National League pitching. I think he'll make some really good numbers, and we'll talk about that later. But I think the Mike Trout thing.
Yep.
If he chooses not to play, and his family, and as far as I know, there's no real medical, reason why.
His wife's pregnant, I believe. His wife's
okay.
pregnant.
Yeah. I get that a little bit, but no more bitching that you're not the face of Major League Baseball.
No.
Like, this is your time like why can't they market him? Why he deserves it? He's over than the West Coast. All of us East Coast elitists just overlook him. He's the best player in the last 18,000 generations. All right, fucking. If you ain't gonna play right now, stop bitching about not getting the spotlight you deserve.
Yeah,
I don't care what your numbers are, dude. This is kind of when they need you.
of course, because now presumably, maybe not, because this has been going on for so long, but presumably once baseball starts, all sports fans are going to be tuning in because we've been so sports deprived for the past 4 months.
They're gonna get baseball's gonna get about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And they need people like Mike Trout. They need people like Jackie Bradley. They need people to be fucking ready to go the second.
Right.
Right. And if that moose in San Diego is any indication, I sent you that picture. I'm talking about Mr. Pablo Sandoval. Okay. If he's any indication of the fitness level of today's Major League Baseball player, they got a problem.
Look, we always knew that dude was big, but that that picture, and of course the famous picture of him throwing at Fenway in his first spring training, where I was like, and that's when I did the talking Pablo.
At least he was in because he was only wearing a t-shirt. He literally looked like the big fat third baseman at the East Taunton Wednesday night beer league. He really did. You know what I mean? But this, like, if the softball rolled to him, would you have been really surprised?
No. The picture that got published this week is just preposterous, absolutely preposterous. And Carabas wrote an article about it. He got the fat police went after him on.
Yeah, he was great. The guy who tweeted him said, would you show this to your mother? And then immediately he sent the screenshot of him texting his mom going, "Did you read that article?" His mom's like, "Yeah, he's fucking fat."
Yeah, the fat police are coming for you, Jared.
Great.
So speaking of stats and speaking of, contracts and all that stuff, guys trying to get, sorry, my mic's all messed up here. Guys trying to get contracts and so forth. What do you think it's going to take to win home run crown, batting crown, ERA title, wins in a 60-game season? So let's start with offense, okay? So, and then I'm gonna read a little bit from an article from MLB.com.
All right, I haven't read the article, but I'm gonna say that before we get specifics.
Yep.
I think it's gonna be higher than we think.
Yeah. All right.
One, because I think the pitchers are gonna kind of blow.
Mm-hmm. Good.
And
good
I think pitching is gonna be behind because they're not getting that much of a ramp up. They're not. I mean, we're
usually they're ahead of the game because
they're ahead. It's one of those things where you got to throw like in situations. You know what I mean, and they're not going to be doing that.
Right.
So where do you want to start?
Batting average. What do you think is going to win?
Well, that shouldn't change anything, right? Average is average, right?
Yep. But here's the deal, right? So you're looking at 60 games. Okay.
Should be a little higher this one actually.
The all-time highest batting average for a 60-game stretch. Now, I'm not talking about at the beginning of a season, the first 60 games. I'm just talking about Major League Baseball history. The highest batting average for a 60-game stretch is .466 by Roger Hornsby in 1924.
I think there's a real good chance someone's going to be over 400. I think that even using just any 60-game block isn't really a good representation. I mean, the numbers, that's crazy high. But if you look at probably what most people are, I don't think it's a good representation because it doesn't take, and now this is where I differ from the pure stats people, like late and, all those things, late and close and all those different stats and winner stats. I think you're going to see somebody who, if they're close getting towards the end, you're going to see some teams pack it in. And I think you're going to see some dudes, like, not only start well, I think you're going to see some guys end on fire.
Right.
Because there's really nothing that they're holding it for. I think it's that they're not looking at the whole thing. They're feeling good. Couple pitchers have gotten hurt here and there. You know what I mean? I think you're just some guys absolutely on fire.
Yeah, and they're not tired because it's not, you're starting the season in, basically late July. So you haven't had 3 months of baseball. So they're going to be starting fresh. In it's the summer, that it's not the cold weather, blah, 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 blah. Chipper Jones actually hit 400 as recently as 2008 in a 60-game stretch, so it's definitely doable.
You know what? I didn't really think about that. That's kind of neat. I mean, it won't count, but hey, 400 is 400. It's cool. That'd be cool.
Yeah, and I mean, there's going to be an asterisk over all the stats this season, I'm sure. But
this is the only one that would be like something that is higher than normal. You know what I mean?
Right. So the article from MLB.com, they took the past 10 years for their kind of cross-reference because some of those guys are still playing. Yep. So the highest was 376 by Cody Bellinger in 2019, and Robinson Cano did it in 2010. So I think you're going to see
north of 350.
I was just about to say you're going to see something above 350 to win the batting average crown.
That's cool, actually. I didn't really think about that. That might be the most positive thing someone's told me about baseball in like the last 8 months.
I know, right? So hits. So you got to figure, 200 hits is a baseline of you had a really, really good season, and that's out of 160 games. So you're doing 30% of that or whatever. So what do you think? You think someone can get to 100 hits?
That's tough. That's in 60 games. That's a lot. That's what? That's like
that's like getting 2 hits a game, basically.
A little less than 2 hits a game. That's tough, man. I'm thinking more like over 80. I'd say that'd be if I'm throwing that out in Vegas. My over under is like 80, 82.
So you're right. You're right there. Again, Miguel Cabrera, 2013. He had 89 hits through 60 games.
He was hitting everything then.
Yeah, I think he won the Triple Crown that year.
That was his year, yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Shitload of steroids too, yeah.
Yes. Home runs. This one's interesting. What do you think's going to get it done?
Now we've broken the record of home runs every year in the past. I think we'll see 40.
Really?
That's high.
That would have to be.
Yeah, no, probably closer to
less than 1 home run a game.
Yeah, probably closer to 30.
I was going to say you might
one every 2 games.
You might see 30. The highest recently in the past 10 years has been Christian Yelich with 22. Josh Hamilton, 2012. All-time best was 37 by Barry Bonds. He had a little help, though, Andy. He had a little help.
He had a really big head, which helped get the bat to go through the strike zone.
Power came from the bulbous,
right from the bush in his head. Exactly.
Growth coming out of his dome piece. That stat is just gaudy. 37 home runs in
crazy
60 games.
I guess you hear the number 60, and it's not a small number. But then when you really think about it, it's not a lot of games.
No, not for baseball.
It really is, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's August and September, essentially.
Yep.
Which is the 2 months really that mean the most. So
it's really when they got to get going and when.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I think you're going to see pitchers left in a lot longer.
Because you're not as worried. Hopefully.
Yeah, because it's like you're not going to burn out. You don't have to manage. Do you have to manage innings? No.
You really can't because you're not getting any days off either.
Right.
You're trying to get guys to throw as many innings as possible because you're really not going to have that. It's going to be difficult to schedule like, all right, we can blow the whole bullpen right now because we got this day or we got a day and a half. You know what I mean? You're really not going to have that.
Right. Yeah.
They're playing 60 games in like 62 days or something like that, right? 64 days. I mean,
it's crazy. All right. RBIs.
So, I guess in a regular season, your number's 100, right? Kind of.
Yep.
So again, 35, 40.
So the highest in the past 10 years was 67 with Miggy Cabrera.
Really?
2013. The best 60-game stretch, now we're going back to the 30s, is 90 by Hack Wilson in 1930. Good old Hack.
What a name.
I think you might see 50, 60.
Yeah, that'd be impressive.
You know, because
if somebody can be close to an RBI game,
yep,
that's a real good number.
And again, you know, you look at a guy like Jackie Bradley who can go on these month-long tears, and he could not hit for the rest of the year.
Well, that's the problem, though. You can
yeah.
go, but with such a short season, like if you're really in line for the home run title or the RBI title, something like that, if you have 2 bad weeks, that might blow it for you. You know what I mean? That's
This isn't going to be one of those scenarios where, you know, at the end of the year, if you have the batting title and you're hitting, you know, 367 and you go 0 for 4 on the last day, it really doesn't change your batting average.
No, it actually will.
Yeah, like this time it actually will change your batting average, and you might drop like 4 or 5 points.
Well, and that's why, you know, if you're talking about pitchers, and you're going to ERA next.
Yep.
I think this is one. It's going to be embarrassingly high. I think that with just they're not going to throw as many innings, so you could have an excellent pitcher.
Yep.
Who gives up 6 runs one afternoon.
Yep.
And like they could end up with like a 5 or something like that. You know, a really good ERA right now this year could be like. I mean, it could go the opposite. Somebody could get on a tear and do like Earl Hershiser, who went like 87 million people in a row with not getting on base or something like that.
Listen to this stat. This is ridiculous. Now, this was probably about a year before I really, really got into baseball when I was a kid. So this was 1981. Fernando Valenzuela, 60-game stretch, 0.29 ERA.
That's gross.
That's like he gave up like 2 runs. Like
that's a different world. I mean,
that was you know, that was bananas. He was.
I think it's gonna be high. I think every pitcher is gonna have at least a couple bad ones, and there's just not enough stuff to kind of weed those out of the stats. You know?
Yeah, and I think it'll speak to who's been really, you know, preparing in the off season. You know, like I could see a dude like Max Scherzer just come in and just go light it up for 2 months and be like, yeah, I get a sub-1 ERA. How you like me now? Like I really
I know. I've lost faith in baseball players to like in general, and I guess I really shouldn't stereotype an entire culture, but it just.
And that's especially nowadays, that's frowned upon.
I hear it. It's some things are going, but I've lost faith in really any baseball players to take their job seriously, it seems like.
Yeah.
And to like actually be preparing and working out every single day and with the coach and that. I honestly believe the vast majority of them treated this like a vacation.
Oh yeah. I mean, I told you that when I was doing those Zoom meetings, you know, in the first one was kind of interesting. The second 2 were super boring, but like, you know, they're saying, yeah, no, I'm on my boat. Like Jackie Bradley was like golfing, you know, and yeah, I agree. I don't know how many of them took it seriously. No doubt. All right, here's the last one for this: strikeouts. So 200 strikeouts is usually your
great year.
You know, your great year. What do you think?
Geez, so a starting pitcher's going to get what? 10 starts? Maybe 12, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Jeez. Can you break 100?
I don't think anyone's going to break 100.
No, I don't think so.
But, again, my aforementioned guy, last 10 years, 60-game stretch, Max Scherzer struck out 133 in 2018. I think if anyone's going to do it, it's him. I just think he's got, you know, now this is no pun intended. I just think he's got the eye of the tiger, man. Like, you know, I know his eyes messed up when he used to play for the Tigers, but I just really do think that he might be the guy that is like, I have,
right?
Yeah, exactly. I got 60 games. I'm going to train, go absolutely bonkers. I'm going to pitch like, you know, we might see with this 60 game thing, we might see complete games go way up, which is interesting. And I'm all for that.
I hope this is true. And he might be the exception. I just think, and you know, besides these guys just not really being into the sport anyways, I think there's a lot of agents who are saying, take it easy this year, man.
Yeah.
Take it easy. You got a lot to play for. You got a lot, anybody with a contract
Yeah, and I don't know if Scherzer can do that. I think he's the type of guy he
No,
can't.
you're right. He might be a guy who's got one speed.
He can't turn that down. I mean, that's it. All right, moving on. So the Red Sox, as we've spoken about, we talked about COVID earlier. Darwinzon Hernandez and Josh Taylor have both tested positive. Darwinzon was at home, I believe. So he never even showed up to camp. Taylor was in camp. They sent him home to quarantine. And Eduardo Rodriguez came into contact with someone who had COVID. He's awaiting his test results. Nothing so far.
Yes, I don't know.
Is this season gonna happen, Andy, with this? Because there are Cardinals players that tested positive.
How are you still testing positive this far into it? If you really if you're not a frontline worker, and I'm being an asshole here, and I know I'm probably gonna offend some people, and it can happen. I get it.
Yeah.
But if you're not a frontline worker, I don't know. I think you're kind of not really being careful if you're getting it at this point.
Right.
It's just, especially some of these guys, who's doing your shopping? Who's what?
Yeah. What's your entourage look like? Because we obviously don't have an entourage, but I look at these people, Andy,
But I'm not going out.
Right.
I'm not in places with tons of people. I'm not. And
the only places I go that have tons of people, the grocery store.
I go to the grocery store. I wear a mask. I go in. I get out. Right. And I wash my hands.
Now, Andy, do you take the wife and kids when you go to the grocery store?
No. Okay. One person goes.
Yeah, because people do that, and first of all, don't get me started on going to the grocery store in general.
It's the worst chore.
It's literally the worst. The people are the worst. No, everyone's bumbling around. Everyone walks into the grocery store besides me. In my opinion, it looks like that it's the first time they've ever been in a grocery store. They're like, where is everything? What's on sale? I don't know how my cart doesn't work.
And dude, these, check out your own things.
Yeah.
Come on. You know what, man? We need people checking people out at the end. There's always an issue. The bags are always fucked up, so I can't get them. And then this. There's always someone breathe the amount of pressure when you're trying to check out a full fucking cart at Walmart and you got people building up. At least if there's another human, you can look at the guy and go, look at this asshole. He sucks at his job, huh? Yeah. Unfortunately, now it's me who sucks at a job I don't have. I wasn't trained for this.
But dude, I mean, I go into grocery stores, and the thing that kills me is that I'll go into a grocery store and there'll be like two elderly people who clearly haven't taken care of themselves their entire life. And they're in there trying to figure out shopping. They're the most at risk. Their masks are all askew. And I'm saying to myself, this is not really the place for you right now. It's Peapod. Sign up for Peapod. Get it delivered.
Like you said, the Phillies, they had the 9 cases. This is 9 cases that kind of showed up after they had already gone back to working out and stuff. And I realized it could have happened before. But, guys, there's a possibility of a season. This isn't some everyday dude who's going to lose out on, a $12.50 an hour check. Yeah, there's a possibility of the season. What are you doing?
You're jeopardizing it for the entire sport. Really? I mean, if Joey Bananas, who works at a supermarket, gets COVID because somebody sneezes and he's unfortunately there, the supermarket's going to be, they're going to deep clean, they're going to test, and the supermarket's going to be open tomorrow. Walmart's going to be open. Walmart ain't closing. This season will be shut down if these guys don't take this seriously.
Dude, as far as I know, customers aren't really getting it at Walmart either. You know what I mean? So don't give me that. The Milwaukee Bucks, they've had to shut down because too many people have it, and they're not going to start again until they get down to Florida. Okay, you look at basketball. We've known about this for a month now, that when they're starting and what the deal is going to be and blah blah blah. How are you not just at home working out and doing nothing else? So when the season does start, I'm good.
Right, and especially these guys, because they can afford to get these delivery services and everything. There's no excuse for it.
You live in a mansion.
But, when I did the Zoom call with JD Martinez, he's like, yeah, I was over at Mike Napoli's house. Well, who is Mike? Mike Napoli's retired. So who is he out with? Is he getting together with his
Smoking butts and hanging out? Yeah.
He's ripping sticks and like slugging whiskey and everything else. All right.
At this point right now, though, if you're a professional athlete and you get COVID, I think people have a right to go, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Because it didn't happen while you were playing. Don't give me no spitting so the players can't. Well, how about we just make sure no one has it?
Right. Yeah. No, I mean.
Grow the fuck up.
Yeah. But, where do a lot of these guys live? What state?
I know. No, they're the same.
What two states do they live in? Arizona and Florida.
It's pretty much baseball world, and it's COVID world.
Oh, and Texas. Josh Beckett's not playing anymore, but Josh Beckett strikes me as the type of guy that would 1,000,000,000% get COVID. He just walk in the bar.
So anti-mask. He would have been so anti-mask.
He's just walk into the bar, be like, "What's up, fellas?" Like, achoo, it's just like he would be. He's the type of guy that would so get it, and he'd be like, whatever, one of these guys. So, moving on. Final point.
First of all, before we move on,
yeah,
two questions.
Yes.
What's the percent the season starts for you right
now? Just because I'm seeing now players opt out, and then, like I saw the Red Sox 60-man roster or whatever, you have like the guys waiting in the wings just in case. Because there's no minor league baseball. Minor league baseball's canceled. That happened since our last podcast. That's done. I feel bad for everyone in Pawtucket and all Paw Sox fans and everything else, right?
Especially the last season. That does kind of blow.
Right. It absolutely stinks. And I'm sure they'll do something nice, next year to commemorate.
No, they won't.
But
no, they won't.
But I won't be there. I mean,
they will not. They don't give a fuck about Pawtucket. Are you kidding me? They're actually, honestly, they're probably kind of happy. We can just concentrate on getting things going.
But no, I think probably with these expanded rosters, and you're gonna start to see Red Sox prospects, like deep prospects, like the Tanner Houcks of the world, all these guys that might have a chance to play this year.
If your name is Tanner and you don't play you don't become a professional baseball player, like the only other job you can do is like shovel manure.
Yeah.
It's really one of those two things.
Or you could be an actual tanner and work with leather. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, right.
But I would honestly say I think there's a 75% chance it still happens.
Okay, I'm above 50%. I think right now they're so pot committed it'd be almost embarrassing for it to not happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's your percentage they finish the season?
Unless there's a absolute disastrous second wave or weirdo mutation, I think they do finish it.
You don't think they're gonna get scared? Like if all of a sudden a team like it goes through a club, dude, these guys are gonna do dumb. This is the problem though.
Baseball players are wicked dumb.
They're gonna, and the athletes are dumb. They're going to. If I was a reporter, I would, or if I was a news organization or whatever, I would have a reporter attached to every single player following them. What are you doing after the games?
Yeah.
I would, because I would be plastering it all. This person was hanging out at Dick's Last Resort. You know what I mean? With the cock hat on.
Yeah.
Okay, so like because I just think that it's so irresponsible.
What a wild concept that place was. Hey, come on into our restaurant. Our shtick is we treat you like a piece of shit.
The worst.
I'll never forget the first time I went there. Someone's like, "Yeah, it's wicked fun. You go in and they insult you, and it's like the anti-restaurant experience."
It's awesome. The food sucks.
I don't want that.
Yeah, the food sucks on purpose.
Yeah, I'm like the food sucks, and you're giving me attitude, and I get no respect in my real life. Why do I want someone to dog on me when I go to a restaurant?
One more thing.
Yeah,
it's pretty expensive.
Yeah, of course. It's tourist.
You're buying like $6.25 Coors Lights.
Buddy of mine, who I went to college with at UMass Amherst, when we all ended up moving to not together, but we just all ended up in Boston after college, and he actually was a bartender there. So that's the first time I went there, and I was not impressed, and I was like, yeah, this place is whatever. So that's the one near, not the one at Faneuil Hall, the one that was near the Prudential.
Yes. Oh.
It's the original one. But yeah, all set with that place. All right, so I got an email this week. So all my season tickets were canceled for the rest of the year because obviously they have the new 60-game season, so it's not going to look the way it did. So I got refunded all my money. However, Sam Kennedy, vice president of the Red Sox, said that he does expect to have some games with fans in the stands. And
I wish you could bet against that.
According to my rep, who emailed me this information, the fans in the stands, season ticket holders will get first choice. And I don't know how many they're going to sell. There was no specifics, but
Full price.
Yeah, it'll be. I'm sure it'll be full price.
Probably more.
Yeah, exactly. So you want to come? Well, we haven't had a season, so we're gonna.
You know what they make you do? Like they're gonna sit like every 4 seat. There has to be 4 seats in between.
Yeah.
So that means like I have to buy the 2 seats, and then you have to buy the next.
Right. Oh, there's 2.
Like, we can't not sell the seats.
Oh, there's 2 of you, and you need to buy 10 seats, you assholes.
Yeah.
And then people are gonna be like, sure.
Okay. I love baseball.
So would you do it?
It's outside. I guess that's better. I might just to say I went, I guess. I mean, again, I'm not I don't think it's gonna happen.
I honestly don't either, but if it did happen, I would go in a heartbeat because I think you're probably gonna be looking at a stadium filled with like maybe 10,000 fans.
That could be kind of cool, you know what I mean?
And just seeing what that looks like. And, I'm sure it's one of those things where, if there's like a foul ball, you can't have people running for it, stuff like that. And I'm sure there's going to be rules for concessions, and I'm sure there'll be arrows, you can only go this way and that way like they do in the supermarket aisles and shit like that. But I would 100% go. I think it would be neat. I'd wear a mask except when I was at my seat.
Yeah.
Obviously at my seat I'd be drinking beers and eating and shit. But
you think they're gonna? And this is dangerous. But do you think they're gonna try to? Because you think about Yawkey Way and Lansdowne Street. So much of that is their property. You know what I mean? And
right.
this is the big argument that the agents have and stuff is when they talk about money. No. You're not trying to. You're trying to not lose money on your other ventures too.
Right.
Yeah. So, do you think it's going to be a situation where it's just almost like those streets are just filled with people during the games because they're going to be selling beers outside and they're going to be, to go, quote unquote, which to go means I buy a beer, then I stand on the road and I drink it?
No, I can't see that happening in Boston just because Marty Walsh has been like the COVID Nazi since like day.
That's what kind of happened in like the Village in New York City and things like that. All of a sudden it just became like Mardi Gras because everyone drinking in the streets.
Yeah, I don't think so. Just with the mayor, he's not gonna allow that. It's
he's not a fan of booze.
He was.
He was, but
he used to be.
Yeah, it's the booze's fault, not him. But whatever.
I think they'll figure something out, just like a lot of places have figured stuff out. I know, things are starting to reopen here, but they'll figure something out. And, even if it's, even if there's so little people that they're sending like a waitress over to a certain section. So,
I wouldn't bring my dad. You know what I mean? I wouldn't bring an older person. I wouldn't bring an older person.
I wouldn't go with my dad. I'd go with my son. I'd go with you.
Yeah.
I hope to go with you, actually. So that's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
This was a roundabout way of inviting you, okay?
Well, it's really nice. I'm probably busy.
So Andy, listen, if we can't go to a game in person together this year, I have a great alternative, although it's as of yet it's not going to happen with the Red Sox. So, friend of the show, Josh Maloney, who I know personally, great guy, always full of baseball knowledge. So I have a lot of respect for him. Josh Maloney tweeted out a couple of days ago that the A's and Giants are offering fans the opportunity to buy cardboard cutouts of themselves and place them in the stands with the games that don't have any any fans. And additionally, I think it's the A's. I don't think the Giants are doing this, but the A's are going to be giving away souvenirs. So in other words, Andy, if there's a pop fly on the third base stands and like the foul ball hits your cardboard cutout, the A's send you a baseball.
The ball?
It better be the ball.
Yeah, I don't want a fucking replica.
I don't want the non-ball that hit the non-person.
Let me think here. I got to be honest. When you started, just the idea of having a cardboard cutout of yourself, anyone who does that is automatically should have to wear a shirt with an A for asshole for the rest of their life. Okay? I mean, what would be the purpose of doing it? Maybe you get to see it on TV. I mean, it's not. I don't understand.
Not even you on TV. Like it's a cardboard cutout of you.
Yeah, like, I don't quite. I mean, and what if you're not near the camera? I don't. The foul ball thing helps because it's like now I'm kind of just buying a lottery ticket.
Yeah.
To maybe get a foul ball. I don't know. That helps it a little bit. It's still really a waste of money. I mean, gigantic waste of money.
I'm just wondering, like, I'm thinking about our immediate group of friends, right, that we hang around with. I'm just thinking about like how funny it would be, like first row of like Fenway Park to see like, me, you, Lesnar, Mike O, like, like the whole crew, just like in front. That would be.
Well, yeah, though, but you're acting like we can afford front row.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean,
right?
You would have to. I would assume you would have to pay more to get front row.
Well, we'd be in the right field grandstands, facing the other direction. Just like you get to see like the quarter-inch thickness of the cardboard from the side.
It'll be like I was in the 2013 World Series, literally the last row of the bleachers. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're behind the Duncan dugout.
Ski goggles on, dude. I was like, it was so cold. Yeah, that's where I would be, and then, it'd be like $10, and you would never see my my stupid cardboard.
Oh, someone's gonna pay big money to be like behind home plate or something like that.
Yeah, like Ben Affleck will like buy some shit or I don't know. But I don't know. I think it's ridiculous, but I also think it's kind of funny. I personally wouldn't do it, but at this point in time, why not get a little gimmicky? Now's the time to get gimmicky. And by the way, baseball's been gimmicky for a while. The dude who used to own the White Sox used to have like, what was it, like penny beer nights and shit, and like things would just go
bad,
dog shit crazy.
Cleveland was the nickel beer night.
Yeah, just to get fans in the stands. They used to have all these wacky ideas. So why not? You want to get fans in the stands, they can buy their own. And every all these people on these Facebook groups that really God bless these people. They're Red Sox fans, and I stand together with you in solidarity. But a lot of you guys really don't know too much about the actual game of baseball. But maybe they've never been to a game, and this is their way. This is their way to go, and maybe it makes them happy. So it's a victimless crime. So if you want to get a cardboard cutout of yourself and put it in Fenway, that's fine with me.
But these the union and Major League Baseball better start talking. I know they can't say it personally about like, okay, we support anyone's decision, but they got to start talking to some guys and say, okay, we can't. When you're going to have the NBA in playoffs, you're going to have the NHL in playoffs, you're going to have football starting, and you're going to throw out like a bunch of minor league teams playing against each other because all the big stars are not there.
Right. Well, it reminds me of that. It reminds me of the year that they were going to start the season with the scrub players. I think it was
the replacement players. Yeah, they decided not to do that.
Whatever.
So they got to really make sure
close to doing that, to having the replacement.
Yeah.
And my father at the time was like, I don't care. He's like, I'll watch the replacement players. He's like, reset. They're making too much money anyway. This is in like the early 90s. You know what I mean? So
I'm not big on like guys should owe it to the game or something like that. Mike fucking Trout better play.
Yeah.
I think if he doesn't play, I think it's a real bad look for him. I think it's not good for baseball. They really need him to play out there. I mean, that American League West, if all of a sudden he's out,
Yeah.
You got the Astros who are cheaters. You know what I mean? And I don't see the Astros having a good year because I think mentally they're cheaters. But honestly, not having fans in the stands might be the best thing that could possibly happen to the Astros.
No one is benefiting more from COVID-19 than the entire Houston Astros organization. I'm not even joking. Like,
no, I think you're 100% right.
I'm talking about in the world. Like, like besides maybe,
Amazon.
Yeah, besides maybe Amazon, it goes like Amazon, the Houston Astros, and like Home Depot. That's like about it.
Joe Biden's fourth. Joe Biden might be fourth.
Dude, they just hit him in a basement, man. They're like, don't say anything, don't do anything.
No.
Just let Trump say stupid shit and screw it up. And
the Astros playbook. Yeah. The Astros playbook.
All right. You got anything else, Andy?
No, I hope it gets going, man. They still got a long way to go before they even start this stuff. I mean,
what is it? The 5th today. So, I mean, we're still about a week and a half away here. I'm sorry, 2.5 weeks away, whatever it is.
Yeah. So we'll see. So there's concerns, but it's looking better, I think.
Well, I'm just glad we had something to talk about this week. Jesus.
At least something happened. I mean, I guess maybe that'll are updates on who's not playing every week.
Well, yeah, every time MLB trade rumors, because I get the alerts on my phone, and it was like bling, and I'm like, they're like, oh, so and so has COVID on whatever team, and some commenter was like MLBCOVIDrumors.com, like that's what it's become, you know what I mean? So hopefully they get it under control, and hopefully the players. Again, growing up near Cape Cod and seeing like the Cape Cod League kids hitting those bars in the Cape to
I get it, dude.
Yeah, I mean they like to. Baseball's the type of sport where you can go on a bender and you can you're not going to be too affected the next day. I'm sorry.
No, you can play pretty hungover. You're right about that.
You know what I mean?
And the problem is if they do start, if God forbid these guys couldn't control themselves once the season started, when they're doing road trips and they're going out and stuff,
they're getting with their side pieces.
If they had to not finish this season, that is way more disastrous than just not having the season.
Agreed. 100% agree. I mean, you gotta finish what you started this year. That's it.
Yeah, and you need a World Series with some players that people know the fucking names of. So they gotta figure that out.
All right, episode 80 is in the books. Loaded on Lansdowne, Boston Red Sox baseball podcast. I'm your host, Mark Jacaris. Alongside me always is Andrew Andrews, and we will see you next week.
All right, peace.